editing like the one like in the overtime when they defend like kitchen, the Valk actually threw the game for them. Like they could have won that round and probably won the game, but like she jumped out the window and get killed by Claymore, and then we had side.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was a pretty
That
good
was.
game, like, but we had some technical issues at the start. I mean, G Money has some problems with Moss and Ashes. I don't know what's happening to
Yeah, I
him
was
or
stuttering as
something.
well. I
I
was.
don't know.
I mean,
But
I was stuttering the entire time, but
That was like one thing I was gonna ask. Like, why did you actually rehost? Because things
I couldn't
were
move for
looking
30
well.
seconds per round.
no, we had like actual technical issues.
I was stuttering
Okay.
the entire time, but I dealt with it. It was bad. I don't know. I blame Moss.
Yeah, well, we blame Ubisoft. I mean, Ubisoft doesn't give us any tools whatsoever.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair
but I mean,
enough.
if, like for real, compare this game to CS:GO. CS:GO, the anti-cheat softwares they actually tie into the game, whereas here in Moss, it's not like Rainbow Six specific, right? It just does a blanket scan
CS:GO
of the
does
computer.
things
Battle like kick
Yeah.
W.
You have to have a lot of things right. That's why it's a
So-
popular game still, 10 years old.
Yeah. Well, they must have done something right, because
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, it was a fun game.
It was.
So yeah, with all these discussions that we've had, we didn't actually I didn't actually ask you any questions. So, if I was to look, like, this map is one of the most balanced map there is in the competitive map pool, right? This is still slightly defense sided, I believe, but nothing as crazy as say Bank back when it was in the competitive map pool. So seeing them have a 4-2 scoreline for the role swap, was that getting you guys worried a little bit or anything along those lines, or did you still think you could easily beat them?
Not
We're
at
much
all.
I don't think
stronger on
that there was-
defense on coastline for some
I was
reason.
gonna
Like
say-
I would say like 90% of cases were like attack sided on coastline. Maybe our attacks
It's
are
an
not
impressive
polished
map.
enough. Yeah, maybe our attacks are not polished enough yet. We tried some new stuff like splitting, which we don't do normally. We just like
Okay.
5-man push. Didn't work out too well, and we had some technical issues on the attack side, so everything kind of just fell apart at one point. But yeah, we're just
We're
like
trying new
defender
things.
sided most of the time. Like our blue bar's pretty strong, so we just like keep on doing
Yeah.
that, and most of the time we can win.
I saw that, by the way. I mean, only a few months ago you would have said that billiards the primary bomb site, then kitchen, then blue bar. But you guys seem to go kitchen, blue bar, like unironically. You're not going there to throw your opponents off guard, to force them to push an OBJ while having the wrong composition or anything along those lines. Has the meta shifted and I didn't realize it, or why do
I
you
think-
prefer blue bar as a
I
second
think a
map?
lot of sites are getting slept on. Like in a lot of different map, like side that appears really weak are actually way stronger than what they actually look like. I think it's just a matter of like people figuring out how they want to play the site, or maybe it doesn't go well with how they like to play Siege. I think it's more like that.
I also think it's a matter of like when you scrim, most teams prefer to go on default sites because it's the thing that requires the less brain power. You don't need to go in customs and do like super incredible strats. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty default. So people don't like running blue bar. So people are just not used to defending it nor attacking it. So when you actually practice it a bit, most teams kind of stall way too fucking long upstairs. I mean,
That was our problem on attack. We were stalling.
yeah, it's the same. It's the same for like both sides. Like our attacks were sloppy. Their kitchen thing was pretty clean though. But yeah, on blue bar they kind of struggle to get any room advantage. They tried to go above hookah, but they always neglected office. I mean, like it's always like a few things like that off on like off sites that people forget to do.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because ultimately, I mean, the maps, they have been created by professional game balance or balancing experts. I don't know the exact like technical term there, but they haven't been made by just a teenager in his basement. So Ubisoft, they did balance the map before it came out. Then we as a community have to realize, or just have to figure out how to properly attack and defend it. And the primary bomb site is maybe the easiest to defend, or the most obvious to figure out how to properly defend it. But that doesn't mean it's the best one.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
Personally, I find that bomb site's a lot harder to establish crossfires on, off-site at least. Like if you're doing extended holds, I find that one's harder to get back to site on. While the other sites, I think, give more to like you can fall off into other avenues for us at least what we've seen in scrims and practice.
I see what you mean. I think I'm gonna have to end it here because I don't know if you heard. I mentioned it once or twice on stream, but of course you were playing. we had another game planned up at 9, so Hostile Actions, they're basically
Oof.
40 minutes late for their next game, and there's no way we're going to be on time for our match at 10 p.m. either, so...
Yeah, are they?
luckily-
are all 3 games getting casted?
Yeah. Luckily for us, I mean, the Observer, so Zug is already preparing the lobby while we're speaking. I mean, I can hear him through the clean feed, like moving in Rainbow Six's UI and all that good stuff. Plus, we did the map ads while conducting the interview, so I didn't mention them out loud, but this was what was displayed on stream while we were talking. But still, I'm gonna have to get going pretty quickly here.
We're not gonna hold you back. It's fine.
So I thank you guys for being here. Congratulations on your victory, and I hope to see you guys in the playoffs. Once again, depending on my personal schedule and availabilities, I may or may not cast you, but I absolutely hope to be able to cast you guys.
Alright.
Can I
Well,
Hope you do.
have a good night, and
Have a good
thank you
night.
for casting your games.
Nice game.
Thank you.
Oh,
I-
yeah.
Thank you.
You could take X-ray spot, honestly.
Oh,
Yep.
bet. All right,
Well,
good luck.
30's
Cat.
not even here.
All right, see you guys.
Oh, so y'all need a 5th?
Look at Dirty. He's playing for the other team now.
Oh, Pog.
Oh, okay. So the one sound I was hearing is from the clean feed, because I thought like Axios were trying to ask me a question or were saying something to me as I disconnected, but then the voice just kept on talking. Yeah, so there's that. Let me just do the one or the other thing. First of all, we're no longer casting Summer Cup, so let me hide this and highlight this one. Wait, so Zug, are you in a call with me? No, you're not. No, yeah, you are. Okay, okay. So Mishmash, they were starting on defense,
Yep, they are.
so they should be playing on the orange
Look,
team.
The team starting match as attackers, orange team. I just switched.
Okay, okay, so you switched it this way. Good,
Yeah.
good, good, good. Vezi saying spam this pasta to help. Okay, it's actual pasta. Okay, to help Sanga. So yeah, of course, that copy paste is still going to be valid. And also the overlay no longer being the one of the Summer Cup. I also have to update. You're not going to see this, but in the actual in-game
Just
overlay.
missing to a selection player. I will fit out my water bottle and come back.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let me just poke the other players. Wait, so wait. Which match were we supposed to have after this? Look here, the match 36. How about Thursday? Okay, Wednesday 10 p.m. Okay, okay. So they're still playing today at 10 p.m. Okay, so I don't know if Atomic is here. Atomic, how are you doing, my man? Oh, by the way, the players are already ready. That is looking good. That is looking really fresh. So our map was Clubhouse. Apparently, let me just make sure of that. If we get back into the map and thingy, yeah, Clubhouse. And today is the 22nd of the 7th month of the 2020 year. Okay, yeah, let me just put this back into 1080 because that's looking way better. Oh gosh, I didn't want to do that.
Alright, I'm back.
Yep, and looks like the players are not ready, but they're all 10 of them are here, so that's looking good. And yeah, so I said to, oh, by the way, quick question. Have you or the other staff members posted the announcement of the stream here?
On Twitter?
Yep.
Yep, they are. I
Awesome,
think so.
awesome.
I
Yep,
just
yeah, they are.
checked.
They are. So the one thing I also wanted to point out is we are like really late here. G64 no, pas du. You don't need to be 18 plus to participate in our tournaments. We are not handing over the money to a minor though, so either have an 18 plus member in your team or have your parents be, well, have your parents don't mind you playing in this kind of tournaments and be ready to receive the money on your behalf. Should you win. Yeah, so like I was gonna say, but then I got sidetracked. We are running like 45 minutes late. At this point, it is quite likely that we are set to start unreasonably late as far as the 10 p.m. match is concerned. So I told the players, if you have somebody that has to get up fairly early tomorrow, if you for some other reason cannot afford to start this late, feel free to play the game without us, right? Because at this point, asking the players to start, say, maybe even an hour later, that's a lot, right? So we haven't yet had any retrospect or responses on that post on the Discord server, but there is a certain possibility that the other match might not get casted. Nonetheless, our first ban here is going to be Maverick, because of course, I mean at this point the map, I don't want to say it's becoming stale, but it's becoming repetitive to say the least. That is an understatement at the very least. Because Clubhouse is the most played map at an amateur level at the very least. It is the most played map in the competitive map pool. And therefore, the strategies, the playstyles, the map bans, the the way of defending and attacking the bomb sites, which is just another way of saying strategy and playstyle, we've seen them all. And therefore, we know what to expect. Tony saying, Hans, hey Tony, how you doing, man? Even though I'm not the one doing the actual spectating, so I couldn't respond to that. Nonetheless, how are you guys? I want to say, the Mishmash fans are amazing. Mishmash so of course it's kind of piggybacking or leeching off of Mishmash's renown, but Mishmash as a community, they have, some following. They have a fairly large community. So when they say, hey, we have our players participating in this tournament, then they send, of course, their followers and their fans and their, supporters to the stream. So that makes them quite vocal in the chat simply, by brute force and by numbers alone. But with all that being said, you guys still bring a really nice energy into the chat, first of all. And second of all, they also have an amazing energy in the game. Like they go, hey Hans, how are you doing? And with happy faces and that kind of stuff. Zag saying, hey kid, you didn't to shut the fuck up, please. What has happened? Why? So Zug, maybe you might want to just remind the players to remain polite in chat, because insults and spam may result in
attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Just tell them to be. Maybe just say something along the lines of please remain polite, or just a little reminder to be polite. Okay, like with a happy face or something along those lines, just to show that we're not like super aggressive or super mad or anything. Just guys, if you say STFU too often and if Mishmash were to protest, we would have no choice but to enact a sanction at this point, right? Nonetheless, at this point, nobody has been directly insulted. Nobody's been called out of the N-word. Nobody's mother has turned into, say, a lady of pleasure. So for the time being, if a protest was happening right now, it was nothing more than a slap on the wrist would happen, because it would be their first protest. But please, let's not even make it that far. Okay, first defense is going to be basement, so it's going to be a church and armory defense. And that's something I mention quite often, because that map right here, okay, Clubhouse as a map is somewhat balanced as far as the primary and secondary bomb site are concerned. So you could either go CCTV or church, and your chances of winning as a defender are realistically fairly similar. So the attackers really cannot predict if you're actually going to pick the top or the basement site in the first place. And therefore, they can't really make a hand-picking composition too well specialized for the top floor, out of fear that if they were to miss the mark, they'd be sorely, let's say, ill-equipped to attack the basement. Luckily for them, the standard or flexible or good composition is always a good composition. I mean, no matter the bomb site IQ, is still a good operator to have. So hostile actions will not get caught completely off guard, but still, it is, I want to say, a characteristic of this map that I wanted to point out. For example, in the previous map that we've played on Coastline, it was quite predictable. The teams would go on kitchen first, then hostile actions went on billiard second, and that was not the same didn't hold true for Axios. but you still get the point. The order in which the teams would pick their bomb sites was predictable, unlike here. With all that being said, it looks like Mishash Gaming are not roaming too hard, so that nobody will be, at the top floor trying to get an early pick on, say, Hibana or Zag, who's playing Thermite. So that's both a good and a bad thing, because having a roamer at top being isolated is, of course, going to sign his death sentence. He is extremely unlikely to come out of there alive. But if he was to get, like I said, the lucky kill on Hibana, that could entirely shut down breaching the hatches. And that could be really interesting. Dirty will be getting a first kill on JD. So that's going to be your Zofia, basically an entry fragger taken off the board fairly early into the round. Well, I say early, it's going to be a first blood, but still, there's only 50 seconds remaining on the clock. So you still do have a push that has to happen fairly quickly. If not, the timer is likely to cause the attackers to lose the round. Tony, with a few pre-fires, why are you not using your primary gun? Doesn't matter, he still gets a nice kill on Zag here, who apparently has breached. Oh, that grenade will get a refrag. Limbo now basically poised to funnel in, because the one and only hurdle that was preventing him of just rushing in is now dead. That's going to force Dirty to turn around to take a look at the dirt tunnel, which is not too big of a problem. But let's hypothesize real quick. Should Kenny die, well then Dirty would be caught between two different lines of fire, right? Speaking of which, Dirty will be catching a grenade to the head. Pickle also getting a kill. It is going to come down to the wire, but the diffuser is being planted. Gibby and X-Ray have to deny that real quick. And there you're going to have Gibby looking desperately for an angle, not finding it, and therefore the time pressure has just turned around. Limbo getting a frag on X-Ray, leaving us with Gibby in a 1v3 situation. He is caught between multiple angles of fire, does not know where to look at, and he is going to fall under a fairly predictable line of bullets. Limbo not having a free or easy or, given kill, but ultimately, I mean, things were looking really, really good. So let's look at those replays. I have to say, this is one of those rounds where for the majority of the time, it looks like in that instance, Mishash were going to win, right? They did have the 5-3 advantage with a nice shot here by Tony, might I add. And the timer was becoming critical. Things were not looking too good. And then hostile actions with a clever push were just able to turn things around. Was it MMG players being toxic? No, it wasn't. I mean, it was actually the attackers, hostile actions, who had to be reminded to not say STFU to the other team. So on that front, Scummy or Crabs, yeah, Tyler, you don't have to be worried about your players. They're doing fine. Okay, and I just got confirmation from the one team at the very least, from the match that was scheduled to start at 10 p.m. from the match that is not going to start at 10 p.m. Well, they are going to wait. Maybe if the enemy team says that they can't wait, they're going to play at the given time. But for as far as we know, at this point in time, things are looking good for a 3-game stream, at the very least. After having lost in the basement, Mishash will be attempting yet another defense right here. And it's always interesting to see because it can go both ways. So either hostile actions and Mishash just do the same thing, which, would yield the same result as what we saw previously. That would be hypothesis number one. But hypothesis number two would be Mishash. They realize what didn't work out too well for them last round. They act accordingly, and they're able to basically, off of adaptability alone, win the round compared to what happened last time. And since the round was played in the last seconds, in the late stages, I couldn't exactly tell right now how it's going to turn up. But one thing is for sure, 2 Jaeger ADSs right here mean that there's going to be but one ADS elsewhere in the map, plus there's no YMI and no magnets, therefore, in the game this time. Remember how many kills the grenade got? 2. And by Limbo Sledge being the only one that brings this type of utility to the table, that is an excellent track record for him, right? He was able to get 2 crucial kills, which enabled the attackers to actually ultimately gain control of the armory bomb site and get the diffuser planted. So not trying to counteract that piece of utility, knowing full well how they played last time around, might be somewhat dangerous. But it yet remains to happen. I believe, if my hearing is correct, that Zag has been able to breach their tunnel. If frag grenade will be tossed down there. Probably going after utility, I assume, since Thatcher, of course, has been banned, so you have to find another way to destroy that Electro Claw. impact grenades will not be working out too well, or will be working just partially. So a few X-Cars have been destroyed. If you still detonate, you still need a second row of pellets to actually breach the hatch. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how many the impact nade got. Not really. So, that is not going to be hatch breached with 1:10 remaining on the clock. This match looks really similar, or this round looks really similar to the previous one. I mean, we're going to go in, obviously in the late stages of the round, right? All 10 players still up, 1 minute remaining on the clock. And the general positioning seems to be somewhat similar. Zofia is going to use some of her KS-79's lifelines in here, and he's actually pushing in the shotgun at that range, being absolutely, deadly. But JD will get a swift refrag, so that's going to be a life for a life. Neither team really does have the advantage, but that is a potential opening created. I mean, hostile action, they still had another player, JD, in their tunnel, and of course, Mishash, they will have to divert somebody to take a look at this potential opening. It is going to be likely to be Dirty yet again. I mean, we can already see that his still is looking at their tunnel. He seems to be intent on peeking. That could be dangerous if you had JD that was holding the angle. But for the time being, oh, he does not get the headshot. Excuse me, how? What? Why? Ultimately, there you have it, 4v4 situation, which is going to be cut off because Devils gets a kill. Dirty thus getting the frag on JD, but Diffuser is still being planted, dropping down right into his line of bullets. That'll be a death sentence. Still, Diffuser has been planted. This time, however, Zags in a 1v3 situation. He does not get a single one. And there you have it. Diffuser will, of course, be destroyed by Mishash, except if they do, something crazy stupid. And therefore, the round will be won by the B team, thus getting the scores back to a 1-1 situation. Both teams are, once again, at an equilibrium. So those rounds are like really, really nice to see because they go into the last stages. I mean, planting the Diffuser in that instance was, a close call. It came down, to a hair's length or hair's width. The expression I'm going to say. And it's, yeah, it is really, really nice to see. You never know which team is going to win it out.
15 seconds remaining.
And that keeps us full of suspense, I have to say.
10 seconds left.
Okay, if I was to read the chat a little bit, Nomad saying, damn, my man Jarvis, what's going on? How are you? Doing good, good brother, doing good. How's Premier doing? Doing good. I have an ESA match, but I'm sitting up because I feel I'm trash. Oh, Nomad, you're playing on a team which is called Premier. If I was to go off of like context clues here, because like to me Premiere is a video editing software, so I was gonna not really understanding what the sentence was supposed to mean here. Okay, good, honey. So much trash. You're good though. Hell nah, not anymore. In a bad slump, drop 4-30 in league match. Yeah, that is unfortunate though. Slumps happen, but bros come out of them better than ever. Just stick him out. Ouch, that's coming scrap scores right there. LMAO, bro, you better than me. Also, the replays. Let's just get out of here. Bro, you better than me on good. Doing that bad right now. I told them to bench me.
10 seconds left.
Well. I hope you get to your previous and even better. I hope you get better than your previous strength. Okay. Of course, Mishash having won, they have to go elsewhere, and without any surprises, it is going to be a CCTV defense. Other than that, I mean, as you can see, the attacker's composition is not going to change up too much compared to what we had previously. That's what I mean when I say the map is somewhat unpredictable, so you have to bring in a composition which is going to allow you to either push both top and bottom floor. Plus, good operators are always going to be good operators. Sledge, Thermite, and Hibana, for example, can be used in conjunction just to breach different walls, since, of course, it's a different bomb site. But other than that, the defense is changing up a little bit. I mean, for example, Dirty is playing Cade. Yeah, we saw him do that previously. We don't see a Legion this time around. X-Ray wasn't on Capitao, on Maverick. Maestro, God damn it, I'll get it correctly. He wasn't on Maverick previously. I mean, X-Ray was playing... Yeah, X-Ray was playing Cade. And Dirty, not playing Cade, he was playing Legion before. So, with all that out of the way, as you can see, there is, though, somebody... at the first floor, and that could be somewhat dangerous for JD, who doesn't seem to be aware. Plus, there's Kenny's also right here. He will be droned out, however. So, instead of just rushing back, he is going to go back up. Oh, he gets a phone Devils, actually. Yeah, Tilly, you have a question for me?
Yeah, je te prends. C'est bien 1-1 ta game?
Ouais. Ouais, la game sera 1-1.
Ok, après c'est nous autres?
Yep. So I guess I'm gonna go back in English because I think that was like your last question. So Devils has been put down. He got revived though. Oh, and crazy pre-fires here from JD will get a kill on Gibby, who was watching the angle like a hawk. But ultimately, he was not pre-firing, and that is where you see that pre-fires are better than holding the angle statically. Plus, losing smoke early into the game, that is really unfortunate. Another thing that's unfortunate is the amount of time Limbo has cooked that nade, because it got, you know, tossed, you know, fairly high up. Had it had more time just to fall down, it could have actually gotten the kill on Kenny. Nonetheless, for the time being, things are looking, I want to say, somewhat interesting for hostile action without being, you know, too daunting for Mishash. JD getting another kill, Dirty refragging that pretty quickly. Generally speaking, you know, utility is being dwindled down. Both players are using their resources to their fullest potential, and it feels like the defenses are being eroded slowly, but somewhat, a tiny bit faster than the attackers' TLD being used to erode said defenses. Ultimately, that doesn't matter because, as you can see, deathmatch-wise, as long as you can outfrag your opponents, having a hard wall breach, losing, you know, the smoke grenades, having a Maestro's Evil Eye being taken off the picture, is, you know, nothing too bad or nothing too dramatic when you're simply capable of killing every single opponent.
Bomb located by attackers.
So that's exactly basically what the run's going to recap to. Nomads started the original MMG PC team. Oh, okay. Since moved on to Premier Esports, they're a good-ass team. Oh, that's quite interesting. So if you're a good-ass team, we might even see you on CL eventually. Yeah, I'm really looking for my words here. But like, and here, let's just start a conversation real quick, okay? Let's compare CL to USCL, okay, or like to the European or the American Challenger League, because it feels like, I mean, most of the teams previously when ESL had the contract, like most of the teams were really good and the Challenger League level was like really high, but most of the teams were actually American, and therefore. Wait, this is gonna be a bedroom defense here, and therefore. By having next to no competition in Canada, it feels to me like the average level is a tiny little bit lower. An easy example of that would be the Team Nordic. They were unsuccessful in qualifying for the Challenger League last season, but since they're a Canadian team and since there seems to have been a somewhat lower amount of competition and, you know, the market was less saturated, they were actually able to qualify for CAPL, which, you know, good on them, of course. But to me, it seems like maybe the meaning of Challenger League from one country to another isn't exactly the same. So yeah, it's just like a thought, and I was wondering if you were sharing this opinion, and if not, you know, let's have a debate. Let's get a conversation going, is what I'm trying to say. But in the meantime, since there's a 3-minute delay and you guys will have to wait a little bit before you can hear me, and there's going to be a delay before we have the response and all that good stuff, let's take a look at the round. It is going to be, you know, the expected back and forth that you have. Extended hold. X-Ray seems to try to plant or to deploy a deployable shield. It's going to be just a little bit too late. I mean, why didn't you do this during the preparation phase? I couldn't tell. But ultimately, he's still holding the cash room, and that's really what matters, right? Looking at what the attack is going to look like, there's going to be a wall by the red stairs area, by the main, by red stairs, which isn't reinforced, so that's going to be a potential rotation hole. Tony is holding it for the time being, but should he fall, it would be an obviously Achilles heel in the cash room defense. For the time being, they're not looking at the potential Achilles heel. They're really looking just like getting their kills through the main door, and Kenny is actually going to win that engagement. JD here is going to attempt to go in there. There's going to be a drone taking a bit of an intel. Tony getting yet another frag. JD looking to cut off a rotation, but for the time being, the players are not going to expose themselves whatsoever, so it would really be up to him to just fall through the opening, which could be quite dangerous. But there you have it. He catches one off guard. Tony will be biting the dust, but of course, X-Ray is now wise to his opponent's positioning. But the Hibana AX Kairos will be getting the last laugh here. And I just sneezed. The mic was on mute, of course, but it still made for a tiny awkward pause. Sorry about that. I would usually have a co-caster who would, you know, start talking, but tonight I am so lonely. 3-3 situation, so a few kills have happened here and there, but let's just underline that they're not, you know, one-sided whatsoever. JD getting, trying to destroy the batteries, so at this point Gibby couldn't ban the tricks for the life of him, or it would be actually really, really dangerous. And therefore, it looks like we're gonna have a firefight on 3 fronts. Every attacker is now working on an angle of his own. God damn it, I'll get it. And therefore, there's no refrag situation possible. Gibby here getting a kill unpunished. But should the coordination be interesting, they could, you know, let the pressure mount from many different angles at the same time. Unfortunately, it looks like Hostile Actions cohesion and timing was off by just the slightest amount. No diffuser, no way of planting. Devils not getting the kills. Mishash Gaming thus running round number 4. So yeah, let's just look at it this way. It is now going to be a 3-1 scoreline. Mishash, as far as the regular season is concerned so far, they are seeded, or they're ranked a tiny bit below Hostile Actions. I actually believe they're ranked directly beneath them. So it is still a tight match, but on paper at least, or as far as the signings are concerned, Hostile Actions would still be at odds of winning the match. So do you guys in chat believe Hostile Actions will win? Do you believe Mishash will come out on top? And all in all, how do you expect this map is going to play out?
Operators, you are out of time.
So that is now 2 questions I've sent your way. Let's see how they are going to, how the answers will be looking like in a few moments. But one thing is for sure. These close rounds that we had, you know, round number 1, round number 2, it came down to the wire. We no longer see them for some reason. Mishash were able to win with a fairly, I mean, interesting or fairly good margin, right? It was a 3v1. The timer was running back critically low, so Mishash were not really in danger of losing the round. They have a comfortable advantage, or a comfortable margin, is what I'm trying to say. So Hostile Actions, did you like let yourself drift up a little bit, or did Mishash really just turn off the heat? There's definitely a gap between US and CAD leagues. Different in popularity alone plays a role. And population. Yeah, of course. Differences in population play a role. I think Canadian leagues will essentially become a breeding grounds for PL teams to grab the best players if they want to switch things up in their own rosters. So that's a really interesting thought, actually. I can't say that I disagree with you. One thing is for sure, I personally believe the gap will narrow eventually, because if we once again take the example of Nordic, they failed into qualifying to you know, regular NACL last season, and now they're into CAPL. But by being PL, I don't know the players on a personal level, so I couldn't tell if it's actually the case. But one thing is for sure, they would have the monetary incentive to actually go full time, and by going full time, you could actually assume that their performances will go up. So there's some catching up to do. I believe they will do it, but like you said, population won't play a role, of course. And it is actually interesting because, of course, there are fewer CAPL teams, or there are fewer spots in CAPL than in USPL rather. I mean, it's 8 teams in the States and only 4 in Canada. But there are more than twice as many citizens in the US as there are residents, should I say, in the US as there are in Canada. So that also is still giving upper hands to the Canadians, if I was to say, saturation-wise, right? Making it easier to qualify, and therefore you don't have to be as good, and therefore the average skill level is somewhat lower. Not an actual jab, or you know, I don't want to say that Canadian players are less good, or I don't mean to insult or to criticize their skill level. It's just the realities of how the system has been set up, right? Devils here getting a kill in dirty. That's not my 3v5 situation. We had not mentioned the game or the round too much, right? But I still do enjoy having a fairly laid-back cast. I mean, this isn't, speaking of which, CL or PL, so the stakes aren't crazy high. And that's why I don't feel too bad not casting the match, you know, with 100% intensity as if it was a high-stakes match, and rather having a discussion in chat while having the game in the background. If you guys want me to take a look at the game and to be like extra, say, attentive to what's happening there, I can absolutely do that. But for the time being, Zag planting under the cloud of smoke, he is gonna have to cancel it out. He is really low on health, but it looks like X-Ray here will be falling victim. He gets a first kill. Diffuser will be planted in the meantime, and of course he does not get the ace because, as unfortunate as it is, Cade does not have the right kit to get an ace. He does not have enough firepower, and his guns aren't the best. Even the AUG, it is a full automatic gun. Yeah, sure, it's like decent, but it's not crazy good, nor is it actually surprising in the slightest, you know. Retronics absolutely supporting hostile actions though, just spamming the emotes, So here's my question to you guys. I mean, Mishash also do have a channel that is affiliated, therefore Mishash also do have a channel with the with emotes. Let's see whose fans are loudest in chat. There is a bot running, but I'm gonna shut it down if it starts, you know, banning people for spamming. And let's see which team has the loudest and spammiest supporter. Just flood the chat with the team you're supporting, and let's see who has, you know, the fastest, say, typing fingers. Nonetheless, that was a church defense, and I cannot say anything else than it failed miserably. Hostile actions winning in a 4-1 scoreline. That is huge. Wait, Zuglion, death row. Zuglion rooting for death row. Wait, that is White Shark. Wait, is White Shark playing for death row? Is he? Only emoji esports I got. Hey, you're also subscribed to my channel. Yeah, I don't have tech. But here, wait. Death row, I've casted them before. Not when I was organizing, but when I was casting European leagues, namely RCL. Small world is all I gotta say. Okay. Oh yeah, and also here's a funny anecdote. French League, French Community League, RCL literally stands for Rainbow Community League, okay? And so they had once organized a charity event. So basically they had organized a league, but the league was made entirely of like good players, streamers, YouTubers, you know, people and big names, basically, okay? So they had organized a community league with big names, and the point was to, you know, invite the players to donate, and it was for Médecins Sans Frontières. What would be the correct translation? Borderless medics? I don't know. Well, you get the idea. So medics that will cross borders, i.e., I mean, they go to Haiti when there's like earthquake and that kind of stuff. And one of the people that was like a player was actually Frenchie. So Frenchie, that was the caster, the French caster that ended up casting at 6 Invitational after 6-4 had decided not to cast there as a form of protest against Ubisoft, without delving into the details of that particular debacle or without delving into the details of that incident. The one caster that was supposed to be there wasn't, and the backup caster, which ended up still being an SI caster, well, I've casted the caster. That is a small anecdote, and I don't know how I came up talking about this, but there you have it. Another round won by the attackers. And the interesting thing is, I yet again have the overlay on the wrong side. Guys, how is nobody telling me that the overlay is on the wrong side? Okay, I should be looking out for that myself, but yeah, you guys don't seem to mind, or not enough to it's not worth typing it out for you guys. Okay, Mishmash, they're playing on the blue team. Yeah, so the logos on the overlay were on the wrong side, respectively. Yeah, ultimately, so this is going to be a 3-3 scoreline for the role swap. So neither team is actually able to get a decisive advantage or to get the upper hand. That is quite interesting, as hostile actions, they went into overtime last round, right? And they went into overtime against an actual CL team, so that is good. Owning this team is amazing. I'm proud of these boys. They're growing. So wait, Retronics, you're the hostile actions owner. To be honest, I didn't know. I I know of Ray, because he's the coach. So he's the guy I'm gonna be talking to when I have, for example, the map bans, or when it comes time to discuss when do you guys want to play, that kind of stuff. He's the one I talk to as the manager. But so therefore I never got in contact with you. Didn't know you were the owner, and there you have it. I just learned about the existence of a new person on this world. So the last defense was a church defense, which also ended up in a victory.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Gotta keep a log, you know. And now we're gonna have hostile actions actually attempting a defense for the first time, and their first defense is going to be a CCTV one. Okay, hostile action is a pretty amazing team. They are. And as soon as they turn 18, I fully believe, I fully expect them to be able to actually, or at the very least, make it decently far into CL qualifiers. But until then, or if that happens, we are gonna have this match right here. Hostile actions. Now they are attempting a defense, and it looks like they don't play with too many roamers. So therefore, Kenny should have next to no difficulties to breach the ceiling right here, destroy the bent batteries, and through verticality also allow Mishash to basically breach the ceiling. JD has been put down by this, by the way, so we didn't see him fall down or anything. But if you look at the life, his health line, he is down. Yeah, so for the time being, it's gonna be a 3v5 situation, and Mishash Gaming subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 12 months. This is an 11-month streak. What? Already 12 months? What kind of logo will you be getting at this point? I don't even know. By the way, I should absolutely be getting new logos for the subscriber badges, because the current ones I've just found online is like a template and that kind of stuff. I'm no graphics designer, and it might maybe start to make some amount of sense to commission them off of Fiverr or something along those lines. But until very recently, I mean, monetarily, nothing made a monetary sense when it came to streaming, because yeah, the revenue was quite small. And actually, I mean, now that I'm running a proper league and that kind of stuff, expenses are just going up because I'm no longer just having to manage my own stream, my own assets, my own, this and that. But there's also a web server now because we're hosting a web page. There's also cash prizes to be handed out, staff members, which I would absolutely love to pay if I could afford to, because I mean, they're giving me a lot of their time and not asking for too much in return, and that is absolutely amazing. That is going to be an attempt at planting the diffuse that will be shut down pretty aggressively here by Limbo. He is just going to ignore Tony because, of course, his shield was deployed, so he was there intimidating and all that good stuff, but not actually dangerous. And there you have it, Kenny getting a kill on Zag. Therefore, you are going to have a nice round 1 by Mishash Gaming. Kunai saying Moss. Kunai, are you expecting the players to be cheating here? So, one thing is for sure. As per the rules, only the players that would be falling victim to, cheating are in a position to ask for Moss, just like only the players that would be, the victims of a no-show can ask for, a protest or that kind of stuff. So we are not going to be actually, looking to apply sanctions if the players themselves don't want to. In the case of a no-show, if you don't mind waiting, good for you, right? In the case of cheating, if they had any amount of suspicion that the opponent team was cheating, and I don't even know who you're referring to here, by the way. So if you had any amount of suspicion that either team was cheating, I would suppose that the other team wouldn't be shy about asking for the Moss files. But yeah, it is going to be up to them to actually ask for those. In the meantime, just like hostile actions at the beginning of the game, Mishash were able to win their first offense with relative ease. Let's see how long it takes for hostile actions to adapt, tweak their strategy to end up winning a round, which they inevitably will. I mean, these two teams are still pretty close, pretty tied together. Retronic saying, yep, I'm the founder and CEO of Hostile Actions. When you're saying CEO, are Hostile Actions like a legit registered trademark company, this kind of thing? Or when you say CEO, you're like the general manager and like big boss of the community? Or I mean, it is absolutely fascinating. Some teams will be, just a bunch of nerds playing together, and some teams will be actually, trademark companies. It makes sense, right? If you think like FaZe Clan, I mean, every big good gaming name is going to be actually a company because they're there to make money. But then it becomes blurry. At which point does it make sense to actually, you know, incorporate yourself or to register a trademark? I'm looking for words here and I absolutely hate it because my commentary is not fluid and I'm saying this to gain time. But when you look at Axios, right? Axios, they are a Challenger League team. They are likely to win money if they win, you know, their matches and all that good stuff. So, you know, they're playing under their that logo, and under that logo, they are basically conducting business. Does it make sense for them to register? If not, at which point does it make sense, right? Legit question. I hope we'll see you in our league. Wait, Zug, who are you talking to? Retronics? These are Retronics, these are Hostile Actions. Hostile Actions, they're playing. Who else is in chat? Mishmash. Mishmash are playing. And Kunai was just saying like Moss, so he wasn't really...
He said in the future, so I mean continue to see...
But like Retronics is CEO of Hostile Actions. Hostile Actions, they're already here.
Yeah, but he said in future.
Oh, okay, so we hope to see you in your future leagues.
Yes. I forgot to mention future.
I see.
For the next season.
So, I still notice that I'm getting distracted quite a bit. So, yeah, if you guys do wanna... No, I'm kidding. Okay, he was kidding. Not that I was getting scared or frightened, but in the Summer Cup especially, we will not be naming names or pointing fingers, but there are some people who are, say, protest happy, and, you know, they're really, really fast on the trigger, asking for protest for ping abuse, for this, for that, and basically just trying to find a way to use the rulebook to win games when they actually lost the actual match, right? And yeah, that adds, you know, some heft or some weight to the management. Oh, both Smoke and Echo being up, that can be really dangerous to deny the plant of the diffuser. So it looks like attempt number 1 was a failure, but Montank here with a knife, yeah, running towards him may not have been the best idea ever. Still, diffuser will be planted yet another, there's going to be another attempt, which this time will be actually working out. So JD is going to attempt the run out right here. He does get the nice kill. Limbo is still alive, by the way. He just dies here. Someone's going to say, you know, 2v3 situation is not as daunting as, say, a 2v4. But then it just so turns out that we happen to be in a 1v3 situation with JD being extremely low. Gibby thus getting an easy kill. And he just wants to bash his head in. That's his head in. That is for sure. I mean, in some other more graphics games, there would be no heads on on Jaeger or on the Bandit's shoulder here. After taking this many shotgun rounds to the face, point blank. Yeah. But that is going to be 2 CCTV defenses basically lost for Hostile Actions. Mishmash Gaming now odds of winning, actually. I mean, they're not yet backs against the wall. The advantage of the lead that we have is only 2 rounds, so it's not major, but still something. So yeah, Connick saying, yeah, we are a legit registered LLC in the United States. That is here. Okay, another question, follow-up question, just, you know, to keep the conversation going. Most of the players here are French-Canadian, or you as the owner, or is the org natively American? And failing that, or should that not be the case, if you were to be Canadian, why did you register in the US? So that would be like my question, because I, like, once again, on a personal level, don't really know you, so I don't know if you're like French, Canadian, or anything along those lines. And at that point, like, is there any incentive or compelling reason to register in the US as compared to registering in Canada? Because, you know, registering in a foreign state or place, I mean, even if it's just another state or another province, is not unheard of, right? And at this point, like, why, how, and what are the interests? 'Cause, I mean, even us, right? As a tournament organizer, a fairly simple or straightforward way of growing our, imagine like the growth, say, path. We organize competitions, we, you know, get to interest a few big teams to participate in our tournaments, the views go up, then eventually, you know, we get a sponsor, then, you know, if everything goes good, eventually, you know, this kind of activities can end up maybe paying the bills. It would be amazing being a tournament organizer, right, as compared to whatever, a few different staff members or, you know, studying as a field, right? And at which point would it make sense to actually, you know, register a company is not something we're there yet, but eventually, if everything goes according to plan, we will have to ask ourselves these kind of questions. Having kitchen entrance door be barricaded is really, really rare. I mean, Kenny is going to be able to cut it down or to destroy that fairly easily. Plus, he doesn't have to worry about roamers coming in from the corridor, only from above. And of course, I mean, the angle is being held simply because there's somebody in the hatch above on the roof. So, yeah, hostile actions. I'm not sure exactly what you tried to do there, but you can't just peek through the doorway and get the kill this way. Plus, I believe it is Gibby's. No, it's not. It's not Buck's gun here that we're hearing. Either that or, I don't know my sound cues. But that roaming game from Hostile Actions is weird, to say the least. We did do the amount of stuff planned. We do business outside of just Rainbow. We're looking on, we're working on the streetwear apparel, and also we also do content. I see. Yeah, so you really are a proper business. You're not like just a team. You're not just like a Rainbow Six team. I see. I see. This game is broke. Floor won't break. Well. Yeah, Kenny. I mean, oh my gosh, what a flick shot here. He doesn't connect, but he turned around so fast. I'm just kidding, but that was, yeah, that was a weird flick here. So yeah. I mean, for example, we have some members of our staff, and I will not mention who have utilized cheats before, but only like in the with the only intent of actually knowing how they work to make it harder to pass cheating under our nose in those competitions. JD actually getting a quad here, and some players after the game they say, oh, it's odd how he was holding the angle or how they're moving, or having used a cheat myself just against bots and this kind of stuff, I know what to be looking for, and some people found this or that skeptical from time to time, and I don't know if that flick shot is gonna fall under that category. So yeah, registering to the US because we're based in the US. Okay, that makes sense. Because for example, Retronics, for example, and that is also something that Scummy or Krabs is going to be aware of, because he's also he's also French, not French Canadian, but he's also in Quebec. The law in our province, basically the equivalent to a U.S. state, meaning that even within the country, there's a subset of different subset of laws from one province, aka state, to another. Online competitions, esports is considered basically gambling. Give me a sec. So last round was played on Armory. It has been won by the Orange team. Hostile Actions winning the round. Winning their first defensive round, by the way. So yeah, the defense, esports has been considered as basically gambling, and therefore, first of all, minors without the approval, the express approval of their parents, are not allowed to participate into cash prize or entry fees and cash prize tournaments. And you basically need a casino gambling license to hand over winnings as far as esports matches are concerned, which in my mind is absolutely ridiculous. We make everything, the point of a competition is not to win by chance, because you're not skilled to prevail. This is like the definition of a competition, right? It's not shoots and ladders. Shoots and ladders competition would be worthless, right? So Mishash as of yet is not a registered company, neither are we. But if we were to, or when we are to register, we are incredibly likely to register actually in the province of Ontario, because these kinds of law don't apply there. So just a tiny bit of anecdote, though. To be honest, in the in the last few years, I don't want to say lobbying because we're not like a proper industry, but say the population and the people organizing community esports thingies have basically made strides into changing the laws to have them more flexible and more say easy towards us, because we're not there to rob kids of their lunch money. It is a legit competition what we're doing, right? Nonetheless, you do have a Pickle right here prone underneath the window, so he's looking for whoever's rappelling up here. I thought it was Zofia, but my memory must be wrong since Kenny's already dead, right? It was Gibby right there. So Gibby, he is finding himself on the subroof, therefore he's no longer rappelling, therefore Pickle is extremely unlikely to get a kill. Tony, by the way, also getting a 1. back down to a 4v4 situation. Neither team does have the advantage for the time being. Tossing grenade in, nobody is directly there, so no frag is going to happen. That's going to be a really important piece of utility that has been lost, and it kind of goes to show that, you know, apparently Mishash were somewhat short on intel, reasonably believing there's somebody there. It shows that they don't exactly know what is actually happening. Nonetheless, oh gosh, he was woefully unaware of Dirty's positioning. Neither did I, right? Hear him come in here, so that's something. And it looks like they're going to be looking at robbing Tony of his HP, and it works pretty well, right? Montang is now down to roughly 1/3 of his health, but he is now, you know, within the bomb site itself. X-ray, due to a nitro cell, I believe he stopped planting right before he died, so probably the Toxic Babe was able to rob him of his health. Ultimately, the natural cell did end up getting the final kill. Zag kind of pushing in quite aggressively here. Diffuser has been lost. Tony might try to plant it, but he is still a shield. He will try to do so. Nitro cell and smoke grenades will be taking short work of him. Will be making short work of him. And Zag doing the exact same thing to Dirty. So, yeah, that combo was just too deadly. Good round. The players are saying that, and it was absolutely deserved. But within round number 11, we are now officially to a 5-5 scoreline, so both teams still stubbornly staying, you know, toe-to-toe. Neither team is able to gain an advantage, and that is nice to see. So yeah, Zug, I have I've told a few so personal anecdotes of this and that, basically without going into too much depth or too much detail. A few details or a few anecdotes of how it works behind the scenes. Do you have anything to add to that? Because I feel like I'm taking this like really light right now, not casting the game too harshly, too intensively. So having this discussion going on would be nice. Have anything you'd want to add or you want to share with us?
Not really.
I'm just putting you on the spot, I know.
No, I don't have really something to say.
So here, let's just talk just for fun. As a co-owner, and you know, you're putting just as many as many hours as I in that thing, and your game feed just turned to black. Yep. By the way. Okay. You're dumping just as many hours as I am into you know, organizing these tournaments. At which point would you think it's worth to, you know, incorporate ourselves and actually declare or register a company?
Oh boy, that's a huge question.
Attackers are moving out to locate a
not sure how to answer that in English, but I don't really know, really. I mean, for now we don't have nothing to declare because we don't have some benefit. It's only,
yeah, I mean, we have no revenue, we have no assets, and I mean, we have basically have nothing to protect, right? We don't have, I mean, exactly. if somebody wants to trademark our current logos, we'll just, you know, get another one, change our name. That's nothing too major. So I totally get what you mean, but you know, that's like the essence of the question. At which point would it be worth to register? When we have like stable income, when we have sponsors, when we have staff, you know, say part-time paid staff under, you know, work contracts and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a legitimate question. I'm not asking rhetorically just to get the conversation going. I'm legit trying to find an answer here, even though it's just hypothetical because we're not there yet. By the way, Mishash rating us with a party of 21. Thank you guys. So welcome to all the 21 viewers. That should be bumping us to 50 viewers actually, which should be above our average. So welcome guys. Let's just finish this conversation real quick, and then we'll be paying more attention to the game. So I'm listening to you. Zug?
Oh, sorry, I was mute. Can you repeat?
I was basically saying, yeah, I was just keeping the conversation going. At which point would it be worth to register a trademark, register a company?
I don't really know. Really? I don't know what the advantage can get. Maybe more visibility, but I'm not really sure. Maybe, but more. En français, je dirais qu'on aurait peut-être plus de confiance envers le public.
Okay. So basically, if I was to translate that to the American viewers or to the English viewers, by being a registered company, it would be a nice way to earn more trust because basically it projects that we're really stable, that we're, by having a registered address, contact details, we're not gonna just, disappear into the night with, say, the registration fees and that kind of stuff. Basically.
Maybe that will be easier to get some sponsorship or something like that.
True, absolutely.
Because we seem more seriously. More serious.
Yeah. Once again, by having a registered company, you have liabilities, and you're traceable. Basically, you're registered, right? That's like what it means. So yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, so let's go off of that margin when we're ready to gain sponsors. That would be a nice indication. But ultimately, I feel like it's the kind of thing that we'll know when we get there. Okay, so Zag saying "Ma pété ma coche." If I was to translate this, Zag is saying he's about to tilt. Where did he die, by the way? Like looking at the replay, Zag was Maestro. Where did Maestro die? We didn't see him dying on screen, so we were on somebody else's POV then. He died to Kenny. Okay, we didn't see that. I run my org as an open book. A lot of behind the scenes stuff is open, but there are some confidential things I am not legally able to state, but it's interesting. Yeah, I would assume. I mean, every company does have its secrets.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
I mean, for example, here's an easy example. We as tournament organizers are likely to eventually have a website because it's just like a nice little hub to have every single detail or everything somebody has to know about us. They can just read through the website. Having, for example, a Discord server with like tons and tons and tons of channels, it just gets to be a lot, and that, for example, if the code was to be public, just anybody else could just copy and paste it, add their name onto it, and basically be a competitor of equal worth to us. So that's an easy example of an asset that you don't want to say share openly. All right, so match point. Mishash rated us. Let's talk about the game because this is going to get interesting. Let's also take a time to underline the fact that Tony didn't pull out Montaigne too early. So the very first round they attacked, he didn't jump on that operator, even though it's his main as far as I'm aware of. At this point, both teams have scouted out each other, or if they haven't done their homework, that's for sure. So I would absolutely believe that they kind of waited for the right time. So if you always use Montaigne, then eventually hostile actions will be picking operators that are really good at countering him. For example, say Legion, Smoke's always there, so you cannot say that Limbo has handpicked his operator to counter Monty, but you get the general point. Hard breaching was fairly easy. Once again, the roaming game of hostile action is present, but is somewhat odd and is not bearing too much fruit. So I'm yet again somewhat confused as to why and how the thing is gonna, pay dividends. But for the time being, Devil is at the top floor, unchallenged, not active. Devils and JD, I believe the second silhouette was, unchallenged, but not exactly rushing heads down towards the fight. So for the time being, he's not exactly contributing to his team's, say, performances, and therefore on the OBJ itself, it makes for an artificial 3v5 situation. Gibby already putting pressure on OBJ, nothing too major, right? Breaching the floor, looking for angles. If nobody's down there, he's not gonna find anything, but it's still denying this or that piece of cover to the defenders. If they want to hide behind, the one gun rack or the one shelf, they couldn't because the ceiling has not been breached. Kind of trying to bait here. He's looking the other way around, it looks like. And of course, Limbo can use his Toxic Babes to play for time. It is good and all, but he would also like to keep some utility in his back pocket to deny the plant of the diffuser. And there you have it. He let Tony get too close and paid a hefty price for that. And Kenny also getting a nice kill on his own. That is going to be now a 3v5 situation. Pickle losing a lot of health. That is unfortunate because, once again, Mishash are, in a match point situation. Hostile actions, any mistakes now is going to be fatal for them. Diffuser has been lost, so nobody has recovered it so far. Gibby, as soon as he drops, is likely to get it, though. But for the time being, even though you have 1 or 2 attackers on OBJ, the planet Diffuser is not possible. Oh, no, he just landed himself. How unfortunate. So, now, that you do have diffuser being planted. Tony covering. Kenny and Dirty both getting a kill. That leaves us with Pickle, last player alive. And of course, he falls to the fire. Dirty getting the final kill cam from the top floor. He gets a double kill as a final kill cam. That is... Oh, and the kneecaps. What's all in the kneecaps? So, nice game all in all. Mishash winning. Barely avoiding the overtime situation, which was, you know, statistically speaking, it was a 5-5 situation and a 5-6. It's fairly likely. Ultimately, it didn't happen, so Mishash, you know, they saved themselves the trouble, and therefore, they will be getting another 3 points to their name. Like I said a few times at this point, but not on this very stream, not tonight, Battlefy, the platform we use to basically just, you know, keep tracks of the scores, doesn't natively support the double round robin format. Double round robin, for those of you who don't know, is basically everyone plays against everyone twice. So we're doing 2 single round robins back to back, and therefore we have to manually add up the scoreboards of the 2 round robins to know which teams are going to make it to the playoffs, and therefore I couldn't say, oh, Mishash, you're now higher than Hostile Actions in the rankings. You know, I can't just do it in the blink of an eye. But one thing is for sure, Mishash, they won a few games which we didn't expect. They won against... Well, actually, are Mishash the new kings? They previously, for a bit of history lesson as far as our league is concerned, we had a 6 victory streak, or, you know, 6-0 scoreline for Hostile Actions. So they had won 6 games. And... Sarge's team, OnlyFans, they also had won 6 games and lost not a single one of them. So both these teams were 6-0, and Mishash Gaming has been able to inflict their first defeat to both of these teams. They still had lost, you know, a game or two before that, because they themselves were not 6-0. But by having inflicted a defeat on the 2 leading teams and in the process gaining points on their own, if it's not already the case, they're now a very, very serious contender for first place. That is going to be extremely interesting. So let's do just like last time, okay? We had another game planned or scheduled to start at 10 p.m. It is now almost 11 p.m. So I would be tempted to skip on the interview, but luckily for me, I do have an observer, a dedicated Zug here, which you heard once or twice, helping me out. So Zug, I'll let you prepare the map ban and the lobby for the next game. We're gonna conduct... Wait, what? Excuse me?
They have wait?
We have another game.
Yeah, but that was the last round versus...
Yeah, they did wait. Yeah, they did wait.
So, no more game, right?
No, yeah, they did wait for us, so they didn't play the game without us.
Oh, alright, okay, let's go. So, but...
Oh, wait. No, did he?
No.
Look, wait, let me check. It looks like he is in a game. Yeah. No, yeah, he is in a custom lobby.
And they have already done the map ban. Ban. If you see in the match 36, right? No, it's not match 36. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's match 36. Yeah, so it looks like we're not gonna have a third game tonight after all. We were too late, and it was ultimately our fault. I mean, we did have a game that went into overtime with a rehost, but we just had to plan for that. So we have been the architects of our own, say, demise here. So without further ado, let's jump into the interview, because there's not much more to be said here. It was Hostile Actions against Mishash Gaming. So yeah, I will be jumping into the public voice channel of the Discord server to conduct the interview. And yeah, Zog, if you want to, you know, keep in touch with me and Kenny, is the guy I poked here, you could join us. If not, we'll talk after the chat. But yeah, I fully expect you to come here, because I... on
which server?
Yeah, so the DAL, of course, because we want to talk with the players.
Oh,
and general chat, so the public one, you know?
Alright, there we go.
So... Zug is back. And Kenny said, yeah. So Kenny is likely to log in pretty quickly. Hey, Kenny is here, but he's muted and deafened. There we have him. Kenny, the one and only. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Amazing. Give me a second. I just want to have the game go, the recap of the game playing in the background. So you just won a game. Congratulations for that. And you didn't win just about any game. You won the one against Hostile Actions. So of course, that this team was as of yet undefeated, just like OnlyFans before them. So you basically have been able to stop the winning streak of both reigning champions. That must be pretty encouraging for you guys, because if things keep on going this way, you might actually even make it to the first place for the for basically the playoffs. Wow, why am I looking for words tonight? Yeah, so things are looking really good for you guys, and you won 2 matches, which on paper statistics wouldn't have expected you to win. How do you feel about that?
Today felt good because we feel like Hostile Action is a very talented team. Especially they picked up a guy from Alpha 1, Zach, who's also a very good player. So we knew it was going to be tough, but we're really happy to be able to take out a team like that in the way that we did. We felt like some things weren't going our way. Like their first defensive round in basement, the floor was bugged, so we couldn't do any type of vertical presence.
Yeah, that is.
So that was unfortunate. But another thing is, with the new coach and everything, we actually didn't have strats set up for Clubhouse.
Okay.
So everything we did was pretty much on the fly, setups and stuff. We just kind of did a ranked and then varied it however we wanted to.
So you're saying you played basically ranked. You played you improvised, went for default strats, and you were able to beat a well-coordinated team. By the way, if you didn't know, so we had a game right before that one, right? We were quite late to our match. And that match, they played against Axios, a Canadian Challenger League team, and they went into overtime. They lost 7-8.
Oh yeah, we were watching it before.
Yeah, so they played against Axios. They were Challenger League, so you saw the game. This was like Challenger League was the only detail I wanted to add there.
Right.
So they came off of a defeat. Fatigue may have had a factor. Morale may have been low. But I would expect you to not have been warming up for like an entire hour before the match started, since you were watching the stream, amongst other factors. So they likely were, better warmed up than you guys. They, of course, had strats, and you just said that you didn't. So all in all, that was a really, really good victory for you, or an unexpected victory for you guys, I would assume.
I mean, we always go in expecting to win, and we felt like we had what we needed to beat this team, even though it didn't go to the map we wanted to. We felt like skill-wise we could compete, and we've been grinding together for a while, so the chemistry is starting to get there. Like the first time we played this team, we had just had a player lose his PC broke. We lost the player, so we were trying out 2 different people for our first 2 weeks. We lost those games narrowly. I believe they were both 8-6 in OT. So we kind of feel like I don't want to say cheated out, but we definitely feel like we should be up there at 1 or at least 2 with Hostile Action. They're a very good team.
I see. So let's talk about the game itself for a little bit, okay? For the first half time, you were 3-3, right? Neither team actually being able to get a decisive advantage or decisive edge on their opponents. So things were looking like really, really well for an overtime situation, actually, right? It was a 5-5 scoreline before you won 2 points in a row.
Yeah.
So neither team really being able to beat out the opponent must have been wearing down both teams. In this instance, I'm talking to you, but yeah, you must have maybe felt the fatigue start to come in. Nothing that you do is really working. Not able to get a winning streak against your opponents, so therefore you don't have the momentum that is going. And generally speaking, I don't want to say it was that late, but still, I mean, it was getting somewhat late. Was fatigue a factor, or were you still as sharp as when you began playing?
I think we were good. I actually think that we got better and better throughout the game. I thought we started off pretty slow. We didn't really anticipate going 3-3 on defense on Clubhouse, but they were good attacking. They're a good attacking team. But yeah, I felt like we were hitting more shots and we were playing together, and the comms were a lot better at the end of the game.
So my next question would be regarding Tony. Tony, of course, being a notorious Monty player, but he didn't play that operator at the beginning. So as soon as you started attacking, he didn't exactly jump on the operator at his very first opportunity. Is there a reason as to why? Because by being a Montang main, as soon as he does not pick Montang, he's not playing as good as he could be, if I'm reading this correctly. So why didn't he pick Montang, at the beginning? Why didn't he stick with that operator every single time? Because I'm talking about him in particular. Everybody has a main, right? But I'm talking about him because he has some renown as, an extremely good Montang player. So that's why I'm going to be focusing on his case more than anything else.
Right. I mean, some of it is throwing the other team off. I don't even recall if he went somebody else besides Monty, but he's a gunner all around. I mean, he can win gunfights with anybody. I mean, if you look at defense, he obviously doesn't play Clash every round. But we definitely feel comfortable with him being on any role. But sometimes you just got to throw the team off if they're expecting a Monty and they set that around it. We're totally fine attacking a different way or without a Monty. Whereas if a team bans him, we don't lose any type of confidence, especially with Tony's gun skill.
Actually, you're right. I was totally drunk. He played Montang the whole time. So then the other question, or the flip side of that question would be, by playing Montang every single time, you're likely to be not exactly target banned because that assumes he hasn't been banned, but target counter strats. I mean, for example, handpicking operators that are really good at countering the shield playstyle. And that didn't exactly seem to happen here. I mean, for example, Smoke was still there most of the time, but then, for example, Legion didn't make an appearance simply because Montang was such a pain for them. Nonetheless, that must be something you expect, right? To have handpicked counters to your better players. And I would assume you have contingencies planned around that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Hostile actually did a great job. The one defensive round that they won on CCTV in Cash.
Yeah.
Where they 6-2 an Echo, a Legion. They played C4s and then Smoke. It was a great counter for how we pushed, and they ended up winning it off of C4 throws and made it tough for Tony to take Garage. But the good thing is we kind of expect teams to do that, and it kind of changes how they play and take them out of their comfort zone to try and compete against us. So we actually enjoy when teams switch to a Legion or an Echo because that's one or two other operators that they aren't used to playing in the first place.
I see. So
yeah, Elzar helped us out a lot with that. Our new coach, he's helped us out with understanding, when to run Monty, when not to, how we know that we're taking advantage of them, all that kind of stuff.
I see. Sounds good. If you look at the VOD of the stream afterwards, we weren't that focused on the game. We were just having a general chat with the chat actually for most of the time. So I wasn't too focused on your game. Sorry about that if you're looking for intense casting afterwards. But all that to say, I didn't pay too much or as much attention to the game as I should. So I don't have too many concrete or nitty gritty questions or details to pick up on. Zug, is there anything else you'd like to ask him?
Nope.
All right. Well, that was
a great. Sorry, that was a great game, by the way.
Thank you.
So all in all, congratulations for your victory. You know what? I have not yet entered it into Battlefy. Let me do this immediately.
All right. I'll make a final statement here real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Scummy. He's the real one, the org owner. Good friends with you, Hans.
Yep.
And none of this would be possible without him. Check out our new merch, new uniforms and sweatshirts and stuff. It's pretty cool.
You want to send me an image in my DM so I can show it on the stream?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, somebody has already entered the scores. So JD, thank you for that. I didn't have to enter them manually. So if I was to just add up the standings, okay? You have 6 points on the second round robin, and let me just do them manually real quick. 6 plus 15, you have 19 points. I'm looking for hostile actions 3 plus 21, so that's 24. 24 to 19. Okay, so they still have a slight lead. And OnlyFans 0 to 18. So 15 plus 3. You are now above. You're second now. You're now above OnlyFans.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh gosh, they're actually amazing. Wow. Wait,
yeah,
wait,
they're
wait.
awesome.
Wait. Let me put this. Let me open it up, and it is gonna get somewhat blurry. And I don't want to like bookmark or anything, but they look like this. Oh yeah, the M like stretching down.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's a really cool. We got it through I believe it's Sword Dog. We have a partnership. We won a contest with them, so they made all of the merch, and it's awesome. I mean, there's hoodies, there's sweatpants, there's hats, there's coffee mugs. I mean, anything, t-shirts. I mean, it's pretty cool. So that we've definitely been investing some money into that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to turn this into an ad, but I personally like it. I quite enjoyed it. So yeah,
Thanks, I'm glad to hear that.
it looks like it's more, you know, to use among you guys, among yourselves. Maybe you're trying to sell this as a, you know, some stream of revenue, but ultimately it's more for you guys to wear, I assume. So yeah, I mean, I know you guys are like half of you are based in the States, so I wouldn't expect you to see in a local LAN. But Scummy, if you're here, La Console qui Console, that's in November in Sherbrooke. If you guys can make it, I mean, I would be absolutely, I would absolutely love to see this jersey IRL at a LAN in a competition where you guys are actually playing, you know, not just like repping your own orgs, say at SI or something along those lines, which we've definitely seen before. So yeah, and fun fact, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but the team that won the Console qui Console, that LAN last year, the Psychopaths, which basically became Nordic, who now are in PL. So there's some good level of competition there. There's some high level, so I'd like to see some good teams there this year again, assuming it happens in the first place, thanks to COVID. But with all that being said, congratulations for your victory. Second place now. That is becoming pretty good. And let's see if you can make this to first place. Hostile Actions, they are still a really good team who have a solid lead compared to you guys. So you're going to have to make sure to not lose a single match going forward if you realistically want to make it to first place. Ultimately, does it really matter? I mean, you're still ranked, you're still high enough to make it to the playoffs, assuming you don't make any major mistake, right? Oh gosh, Scummy just sent some more logos or some more. Yeah, and they're not going to be pixelated, no offense, but you just sent a screenshot. Yeah, that is like the other the darker color. I like it. Videotronics link to Battlefy. Yeah, of course. Battlefy.com/DAL and we also have DL-EU. But at this time, I would expect like the French guys to be sleeping. Mishash bracket. I don't believe the bot is going to respond to that. Yeah, bot broke. Because actually, okay. So fun fact. At this point, is just talking into a chatting with chat. So, Kenny, I don't think we're gonna be like having too many more questions as far as the actual game is concerned. So if you want to leave, you can. But I mean, I'm not kicking you out. If you want to keep on chatting, why not? I had one or two things to say. Yeah, we have renamed. Why did I? Oh. No, wait. What? Okay. Yeah, that does not need to be there. Okay. What was I gonna say? The bot broke because we actually launched another channel, a dedicated channel. If you go on Twitch and you look up DA League. If you look up DA League, the channel exists. I'm still streaming to this one because we've already streamed here every single time. You guys expect the streams to be here, and I mean, us humans, we're creatures of habit. But know that eventually we will be transitioning to that other channel. And for the time being, the anecdote is we changed up the name, so the channel the bot was using to post messages is no longer the same, and thus the bot broke. Number one. Number two, Videotronics. For the Battlefy link, if you're looking for that, right now, if you want to register your players for something else, because of course, right, you have the Titans League right now. But if you look at the Battlefy link, what you will be seeing is our Cerberus Tournaments weekly format, and that is like the whole grid that you see here. These are all Cerberus tournaments. So, yeah. I think this is big. Yeah, it depends on COVID. Yeah, that is like the big factor. So I think that's about it. Zug, do you have anything else to add? Any announcement to make?
Nothing for now.
All right. Well, guys, thank you all for being here. We were supposed to cast another game, which ended as a 7-0 for Vendetta Esports, for Unique Esports. So that was absolutely brutal. Let me just type that into the in the standings. We've upgraded time zones. I don't care. I still haven't moved. Don't change my time zone, please. Unique Esports against Dead Astronauts. 7-0. That was, yeah, that is brutal. Quite brutal. Let me just download it and put it into actually, you know what? Let's put it in the channel. And enter the scores in Battlefy. So that will have been another brutal victory. One of those landslide games, which you don't see too often. And other than that, if you guys want to participate into even more of our tournaments, like I said, weekly tournaments is something that we do, somewhat similar to ESL's Go For format. And since ESL are no longer there, and apparently, face it, they're just nothing. They're doing not much except eating glue. There's no like big name weekly tournament. So if you want, we are, I don't want to say the spiritual successor to the to the ESL, because we're not that big and we're not, you know, ultimately that organized. We're not ESL level, right? But still, if you want to participate into a weekly tournament, go on DAL on battlefy.com/DAL-NA, and you will see this. They also do have a prize pool and everything. But until then, the other match which we were supposed to cast was played, but just not under our casting, so that was unfortunate. This goes there. That game has also been played. So if I was to look at the other games that we have lined up for this week, it looks like the one match between OnlyFans and Phoenix is looking to be played on either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, so towards the end of the week. Sunday at 8 p.m. there's going to be the one match, but our weekly tournaments will be running at that point, so we're not likely to cast this one. And other than that, there likely is going to be another game on Saturday. So this is the one between OnlyFans and Dead Astronauts. So with all that being said, thank you all for being here. I'm not going to stretch this any longer than it needs to be. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you enjoyed the game pronunciation. It was an absolute beast of the game. The next one, like I said, is going to be this Saturday, except if anything else gets scheduled in the meantime. We're also going to have the tournaments on Sunday. But until then, thank you all for being here. Have an amazing rest of the night. And I hope to see you again, like I said, on Sunday during our next stream. Until then, take care and bye-bye.
Attackers have recovered their defense. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. go. Attackers recover the diffuser. Attackers activating the diffuser. Defenders have located the diffuser. Attackers bomb diffuser has been dropped. bomb diffuser. 5 seconds